Hello, my name is Earl Shank, and I'm a graduate research assistant with the Transnational NGO Initiative. I'm undertaking a brief interview with Alexander Katz. Thank you for allowing us to interview you. This will be a helpful tool for students and faculty alike. So Alex, what does a typical workday look like for you?
Typical workday involves getting to work sometime between 8 and 9, heading to the cafe, getting some berries because they're subsidized and therefore affordable, and getting a cup of coffee, and then going to my desk, trying to get through as many emails as possible before everyone arrives, and then typically finding out what my colleagues in the field who manage operations for us on the grounds in Asia, where our supply chain base is located, what questions they have, and how I need to plan my day in order to assist them. And then looking at meetings I have scheduled for the day that typically have to do with the performance of the contract facilities overseas that produce our products.
Great, thank you. And when it comes to scheduling with the field managers whom you work with and the factories which are located overseas, how do you manage the time difference and the need for virtual calls and the such?
Right. There's a great website called timeanddate.com, which everyone uses for meeting planning, and we have some set-aside meeting times week to week that we use for catch-up calls. And typically, I know the appropriate times to talk to my field managers. Since I'm on the West Coast, the best times are my evenings, their mornings. And we don't force people to work on the weekends because those should be reserved for fun activities, although working is fun. I'd like my colleagues to do the things that they love to do and not be in front of their computers.
Sure. So as a leader within a social enterprise, what do you consider are the key factors to both Patagonia managing a profit and providing value to society?
Well, for us, it's one and the same. Our mission statement mentions our product and mentions our core values. So the mission statement is build the best product, cause no unnecessary harm, and use business to inspire and implement solutions to the environmental crisis. So we don't separate the product from the fact that it's impossible to produce anything without having an impact on the environment. And I think that's a message that our core consumers, the customers who are super loyal, know and associate with the brands. And we'd hope that everyone that purchases Patagonia products understands the commitment we make to making our clothing in the most responsible way possible.
Sure. Alex, another question. What advice would you give to students who wish to pursue a career in the social enterprise or in a capacity that engages with NGOs on a regular basis?
Yeah, I mean, my advice would be to do your research and understand the behavior of the organizations you're looking to apply to. Some companies out there do a great job and make claims that can be substantiated, and others make claims that they can't back up. And you don't want to put yourself in a position where you're working for a business whose future is untenable because one day they might be investigated for saying that they use, for example, organic products when they can't prove it. If you want to work for an NGO, it's important to know the different types of NGOs out there, international, local, what the funding model looks like, which is also important if you want job security to work for an organization that has that under control, or maybe you want to go into a fundraising role. So maybe there's a situation that you could come and address some issues that they have with raising money. But generally doing a lot of research, understanding the backgrounds of the organizations that you're applying to, understanding the leadership, what type of people the leaders are, whether you agree with their politics, their values, their philosophy, understanding a lot of the core projects that those organizations have carried out that you find interesting and would want to support. So if you apply to a company like Patagonia, know the role that you want to apply for, know the mission of the organization, and know the ongoing projects that you'd like to help accomplish. On the other hand, working for an NGO, if the NGO focuses on child labor, forced labor, and health and safety, have an answer ready when someone asks you what your passion is and what route you want to explore. I have answered that question incorrectly in the past.
Alex, in regard to your own career trajectory, where you have moved seamlessly between for-profit, NGO, and now back at a for-profit organization, what sort of value did you gain from that experience of not going straight to an NGO and sticking with an NGO, or going straight to a for-profit and sticking with a for-profit?
Okay. So I want to go back to our mission statement at Patagonia, which starts with build the best product. So for an organization that prides itself on its values and its commitment to environmental and social responsibility, I think it's important that we start our mission statement with build the best product. We aren't able to do business unless people are buying our products, and build the best product means that we have a huge emphasis on quality. In order to accomplish quality in a setting where you have guarantees on your products, you need to have standards and processes in place so that you can actually ensure the quality of the garments. So those policies and those procedures, those systems have spread not just from the product, but to everything we do. So when we say that we're engaging in something with a social and environmental mission, we have the same set of procedures and policies that apply to the philanthropic work we do or the work we do around workers' rights. So I would say that that background in systems, operations, and protocols is really important if you're going into the nonprofit sector, where you have a lot of leaders who are gung-ho about a mission, but might not have the systems in place to accomplish it as effectively and efficiently as possible. So I think that's a super skill to have when you are working for an NGO.
Sure. And finally, what types of values and skills should students here at Maxwell try to develop during their time here?
I think getting your hands into as many different fields as possible, not becoming a specialist in any one thing. That's my personal opinion. I studied industrial and labor relations in school, and I do think that course of study has a lot to do with my work, but I've gotten the most value out of a course I took on paranoia in American film and fiction, which I can talk about with anyone because people watch movies, they read books, so you can relate to people on that level. So I would try to get your hands into a lot of different things, creative subjects, into a course of study that involves project management, learn a little bit about marketing, learn the basics of economics, statistics. Just spread yourself out when you're in school while you have the chance to do that, because later in life you might have to specialize. And specialization is great, but you can get lumped into a very specific skill set that eventually you might realize is not the right path for you.
Sure. Well, thank you, Alex. Those are all the questions I have for you today.
All right. A pleasure.